Welcome to the Nameless. I woke because my Alexa started playing something on its own. It wasn't music. It was the sound of someone breathing. Slow, uneven breathing, like they were asleep. I lay there for a few seconds, confused, listening to it rise and fall through the speaker on my nightstand. Then I realized the breathing was mine, not live, a recording from the night before. I didn't move at first. I just stared at the ceiling, waiting for it to stop. The sound shifted, like the person rolled over, fabric brushing a pillow. Then there was a faint sniff. I knew that sniff. I did that when my allergies flared up at night. My stomach went cold. I whispered, "Alexa, stop." And it went silent immediately, like it had been waiting for me to say something. Before all of that, my life was boring in a good way. I lived alone in a small 2-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood outside a mid-sized city. I worked IT support for a logistics company, mostly remote, mostly routine. I liked gadgets, but I wasn't obsessive about them. I had a smart thermostat, a doorbell camera, a couple of smart bulbs, and the Alexa mainly for timers and weather updates. I set it up myself, linked everything, and didn't think much about it after that. My house had that hollow nighttime quiet you only notice when you live alone. The hum of the fridge, the soft click of the thermostat kicking on, the occasional car passing a few streets over. At night, I usually watched something until I got sleepy, then told Alexa to turn off the lights. It felt convenient, almost comforting, like the house was listening in a harmless way, the same way a dog listens. Nothing strange happened at first. If I'm honest, there were tiny things I brushed off. Alexa would misunderstand commands more often than usual, or answer questions I hadn't asked yet. I'd think about checking the weather, then it would chime and give me the forecast without being prompted. I assumed false wake words.
That happens. I work in tech. I know how buggy things can be. A week before the breathing incident, I noticed my bedroom lights turning on around 3 a.m. It happened twice. Both times I woke up squinting at the ceiling, annoyed, and told Alexa to turn them off. I checked the app in the morning for routines or schedules. There were none. I blamed a recent update and forgot about it. The night it really started, I had fallen asleep on the couch. I woke up around 2 a.m. with that stiff neck feeling you get from sleeping wrong. The TV was off, but the room wasn't dark. The lamp in the corner was on, dimmed low. I didn't remember turning it on. As I stood up, Alexa spoke from the kitchen. "Good morning," it said. I froze there, halfway upright, my heart doing that sudden jump. I checked the time on my phone, 2:07 a.m. I didn't respond. After a few seconds, it added, "Traffic to your office is light today."
"I don't go to the office," I said out loud, more irritated than scared. "Alexa, stop." It stopped. I told myself it was just another glitch. I went to bed and slept badly, dreaming about missing alarms and rooms with no doors. The next morning, I checked the activity log in the Alexa app. It showed a voice command at 2:06 a.m. The transcript just said, "Breathing. No audio playback available." That bothered me more than I expected. I hadn't been in the kitchen. I hadn't said anything. I hadn't even been awake. I changed my account password that day. I enabled 2-factor authentication. I checked connected devices. Everything looked normal. No unfamiliar logins, no new skills. I considered unplugging the Alexa then, but it felt dramatic. I didn't want to be the kind of person who panicked over a smart speaker. The breathing recording happened 3 nights later. I had gone to bed around midnight. I remembered because I'd argued with myself about staying up later.
I slept deeply, no dreams that I could recall. When the sound started, it was already playing. The volume was low, but not so low I could ignore it. The speaker was about 3 feet from my head. After it stopped, after I told it to,
I sat up and grabbed my phone. My hands were shaking enough that I mistyped my passcode twice. I opened the app and found the recording. This time, it was available. It was labeled as a routine, triggered at 3:14 a.m., titled Sleep Sounds. I played it again. Hearing it through my phone instead of the speaker made it worse somehow. There were long stretches of silence, then breathing. At one point, I turned over in bed. I could hear the mattress creak. At the very end, there was a soft thump, like someone setting something down on a hard surface. I unplugged the Alexa. I sat there in the dark, holding the plug in my hand, listening to my house without it. The silence felt thinner, like it might tear if I pushed on it. The next day, I took a half day off work. I went through every device in my house. I reset the router. I changed every password again. I checked the doorbell camera history. Nothing unusual. No one had come to the door at night. No motion alerts. The logs were clean. That night, I left the Alexa unplugged. I slept with the lights on. Around 3 a.m., my bedroom lights turned on. I sat up so fast I felt dizzy. The switch on the wall hadn't moved. The smart bulbs glowed at full brightness. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, a notification from the smart home app. Bedroom lights turned on manually. Manually meant through the app or by voice. I hadn't done either. I got out of bed and walked through the house, every light now on, every room lit up like it was midday. The thermostat display showed the temperature climbing. The air felt stuffy, wrong. I went to the breaker panel and shut off power to the whole house. The sudden darkness pressed in on me. Without the low electronic hum, the house felt empty in a way that made my ears ring. I stood there, breathing hard, waiting for something else to happen. Nothing did. In the morning, I called customer support. I tried to explain without sounding unhinged. They walked me through the same steps I'd already done. They suggested maybe someone else had access to my account. They suggested maybe I'd set up routines and forgotten. The tone stayed polite, distant. At the end, they asked if I wanted to reconnect my Alexa. I said no. That should have been the end. It wasn't. Over the next few days, things kept happening without the Alexa even plugged in. My phone would light up with notifications from the smart home app saying devices were offline, then online again. The thermostat would change by a few degrees. The doorbell camera would send me a clip with no motion in it, just a still frame of my empty porch at night. I started sleeping at my sister's place. I told her I had electrical issues. I didn't mention the breathing. I didn't mention the recording. Saying it out loud made it feel more real, like it could follow me. One afternoon, while I was at her house, I got an email from Amazon. It was a standard account activity summary. Buried in the middle was a line item, "New Echo device registered." I clicked it immediately. The device name was Bedroom. The address listed was my house. I drove back there without thinking. When I pulled into the driveway, everything looked normal. No cars, no signs of forced entry. I unlocked the door and stepped inside, my chest tight, listening. On my nightstand, where the Alexa used to be, there was a different device. Smaller, black, no branding I recognized. A single LED on the top pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. I didn't touch it. I backed out of the room and called the police. I tried to explain. They came, looked around, asked if I'd had any disputes with neighbors. They unplugged the device, put it in an evidence bag, and took it with them. One of them suggested it might be a prank. Another suggested I check my carbon monoxide detector. That night, at my sister's place, I lay awake on the couch. Around 3 a.m., her smart speaker in the kitchen started playing something. It was quiet, but I could hear it if I focused. Breathing. Slow. Uneven. Not mine this time. Too shallow. Too fast. I didn't say anything. I just listened, counting each breath, wondering if it would stop on its own. In the end, it did. The silence after felt heavier than before. I never went back to my house. I sold it as is a few months later. I don't use smart devices anymore. I still wake up sometimes in the middle of the night, convinced I can hear myself breathing through a speaker that isn't there.